said about you. I mean, your lockers are right there. What
About
have you
who?
got with Joe Staley? What he
Okay.
said about you?
Oh, me.
Your lockers are right next door to each other. What have you learned about Joe Staley over the past couple months?
And I love being locker buddies with Joe. He lets me, with the basketball goal off in there, he lets me sit in his locker so I don't get hit by a basketball. I told all my teammates, I said, I feel like the only way I go on IR is if like I take a basketball to my head or something. Because those guys shoot all the time, but it's the good luck charm. So I just kind of scoot over in Joe's locker, and Joe would come around and see me at his locker. And I try to get up. He's like, no, you're good, you're good, you're good. So that just kind of shows you what kind of guy he is. He's a great teammate. I enjoy playing with him. When I first got here, he was battling so many injuries. He came back, and then he had the hand, and he's the definition of resilient. To have a long career like he's had, it's been extraordinary. And he's a guy that I'm 10 years in the league, but I look up to because I want to be where he's at some point in his career. And so, what a great guy.
You played 17 games this season. How much did this bye mean to you?
It meant a lot. It meant a lot more than I thought it would have meant, and how I feel today. If you would ask me 2 weeks ago, I was like, what's going on in my body? Certain things were just aching. My ankles were sore. My big toe was sore. Just everything. And now here I am. I had the little bye. I had an opportunity to get a break. Just last week was really just jogging through a lot of stuff, and now my body feels good and ready to go. So it was definitely tough. I've saw a lot of things on Twitter saying, if the NFL wants to change the season of 17 games, they should ask me, and I say no. Because my body was hurting, and I needed that break, so yeah.
How does the locker room feel to you? Is it loose? Is it tightening up, with the
I think it's loose. When you got guys like Kendrick, Bourne walking around the locker room dancing and blasting music and doing all kind of dance moves, it's kind of hard to not be loose, And even this morning, he was in the locker room dancing around, him and Deebo Samuel and all the rest of the young guys. And I looked over at Sherm. I said, man, these guys keep us young, man. And so guys like that are good for the ecosystem of this team. And guys like me and Sherm are good, for the playoff experience to let them understand the magnitude and what we need to accomplish. So I think we got a well-balanced team.
Your playoff experience. I mean, you obviously had a good run with the Broncos, finishing here in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How much can you lean on that as you go?
You know what? If you ask me what does the playoff experience mean, I think it just comes naturally. But I think the entire time since I got here, this team has been paying attention to the details. I can sit back and say, okay, this is the time for us to lock in, but I feel like we've been locked in all season, or ever since I got here. And so when I talk about playoff experience, I just say, you know what, don't do too much. I feel like when a lot of people, they get in the playoffs and they think they got to do more. They got to do more. But at the end of the day, you're in the playoffs. You've already been winning games. Just remain who you are. And I think it's kind of like what you were saying about, staying loose. Those young guys, be who you are. Dance. If you dance, dance. Whatever you was doing during the season, continuously do that. And that's going to help, because I feel like a lot of people are going to overdo it or overthink it, which in turn can be a bad thing.
Something you have to talk to Jimmy about this week?
No, I don't have to talk to Jimmy about that. Jimmy's, how many Super Bowl rings that guy got? He knows. He knows what it takes to go all the way and win it all. And he's seen the preparation from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So at the end of the day, he understands the process.
You're probably focused on coming back from your injury in training camp. But when the Broncos and the 49ers had those joint practices, you talking to your teammates, did you get the idea or did you have the idea that the 49ers could be this good?
I remember after we practiced against this defense for the first time, they kind of shut us out that first practice. And I remember calling a team up and telling them, like, that was embarrassing. And I didn't know that, they're going to be the defense that they were now. But I knew that we couldn't move the ball on them the first day of practice. And then the second day we were able to. I think the altitude kind of got them a little bit, which I was happy about. But, and I remember coming out and just seeing the team and just being like, man, these dudes are huge. You look at Buckner, you look at Ark, you look at these guys, and you're like, man, like, are they tackles? But they're interior D linemen, and the corners were big, Sherman, and 6'3" corners. Everybody's big, and so I noticed that right off the bat.
also got to see Deebo and Kendrick back then. How have they progressed since?
Yeah, I really didn't see him too much because I was going against the defense and they were on a totally different field. So truthfully, I didn't even know who those guys were, and I didn't really know too much about them until I got here, and just to see Deebo and see KB and how these guys practice and how they run through the ball and they run after the catch. I was just like, you know what, like let me try to fit in with these guys, because one thing about this league is you could be in year 10 and you'll take a guy that's year 1, and if you don't think that you can learn from the guy from year 1, you're not gonna make it too long in this league. I feel like everybody can learn something from somebody, and so when I first got here, I saw these guys running through the ball and running after a catch, and I said, you know what, like let me go and talk to him and ask him how he does it, because if you watch like Kendrick Bourne run through the football, even when you go to the games, and a lot of guys in this league, I've been in the league a long time, a lot of guys don't run through the football like that, and he has exceptional hands, and Deebo in the way that he run after the catch, and so that's something that I try to pick up off those guys.
In retrospect, how crucial was it for you to be in Rich Scangarello's offense for a little while?
I think it was really crucial. Obviously, when I was about to get traded, I was hearing rumors to Saints, to the Patriots, and 49ers, and I said, you know what, like for me, like the easiest transition would be, here, because a lot of the terminology, a lot of the plays, I've already did that in OTAs. I've already put in months and months of preparation. So when I got here, it was just an easy transition, and it ended up working out.
All right, thanks, Emmanuel.
All right, thank you, guys.